Greetings viewers, today we're going to be in a little class on an item called Elote. It's a Mexican favorite and it's huge down in Southern California. Come on in. So, this Mexican street corn originated back in the 1920s in Southern California. It was a huge hit with street vendors. And it's a very simple dish and I'm sure you're going to love it. But in the meantime, while we're showing you how to cook this, we're also going to talk about some of the adverse effects and some of the contentiousness over NAFTA in the contemporary. So I hope you're excited. It's going to be a good episode. All right, let's go. We've gone ahead and preheated our oven. And here are our inputs for the elote that we're going to make. The first thing being some sweet corn. And then we've decided to add some salted butter to just, be like a base for the flavor. Queso fresco cheese. Fresh garlic cloves, salt and pepper for seasoning, chili for a little spice. We use a lime for garnish and also flavoring. And then for the base of our sauce, we're going to use a mixture of sour cream and mayonnaise. And finally, we add a little bit of cilantro, once again, more just for flavoring. So here again with our main ingredient, our corn, we're just going to first off lightly season it. A little salt, a little pepper, and then we're going to just roll the corn around in that. So our main ingredient, corn here, originally produced in Mexico for hundreds of years. The commodity has really become a symbol of their national agriculture and a time-honored tradition for its people. All the way back to the time of the Aztec, corn has been integral to the region, and it's just always provided sustenance to the people. The Aztec even had a maize deity named Centitl, whom they worshipped in belief it would create perfect conditions for the optimal harvest. In recent times, however, much has changed. In the 90s, we created NAFTA between Mexico, Canada, and the United States, and it did have a net positive effect for all the people involved. However, in current times, the deal has come under a lot of scrutiny, both by Mexico and the United States and the Trump administration, and a lot of the participants are not satisfied. So we're going to look into that later in the video, and for now we're going to throw this corn in the oven. We're going to let it bake for 20 minutes. So we just pulled our corn out of the oven. It is baked nice, got a nice outer brown layer on the corn. It looks really good. So now we're going to be making our sauce. First thing we want to do is add 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. Just going to kind of eyeball here because this is a weird way of doing it. So it looks like about 1/3. I'm going to do 1/3 of a cup of mayo. Try not to get too much cross-contamination. This is really where we start to see a huge stack of the calories in this recipe. Each of these corns are about 480 calories for all you healthy folk out there. Alright, once we get these together, I'm just going to throw them in our mixing bowl. We're going to start adding some of our ingredients. First is a tablespoon of cilantro. Just throw that in there. And then according to our recipe over here, another teaspoon of finely minced garlic. Okay. Then we're going to do a teaspoon of chili powder. So we get a lot of spice. Oof. Bam! Alright. Love chili powder. And for a little extra added flavor, I'm just going to add a little lime juice, some salt, some pepper, and that is our base. After we get all these together, we're going to whisk that nice, get a nice texture in there. And once this is mixed, we're going to apply this to our corn and then sprinkle a little of the queso fresco on top. And that's pretty much it. It's a very easy recipe to make. So we're going to apply the outer sauce to the corn. This is a good point to talk about some of the discrepancies in NAFTA. mainly by the Trump administration and by some large producers in Mexico. NAFTA has had some real negative and lasting effects on small producers in Mexico, as the U.S. has been culprit in large-scale agricultural dumping. Dumping has lowered the price of a lot of their commodities, and as it damages domestic prices as we flood their markets with our surplus created by our corn subsidies, we hurt the producers' ability over there to make a solid profit. And one of the byproducts of American corn subsidies is overproduction. So exporting commodities at a price below their production cost has put many small producers out of business. U.S. corn subsidies cost farmers in Mexico nearly $6.5 billion between the years of 1997 and 2005, with an average loss of $700 million a year. So once we get this outer corn sauce on, so our final stage here is just applying a liberal amount of queso fresco, because this is the best part, folks. So back to what we were talking to before. Corn, once again, is Mexico's largest agricultural export. In recent times, Mexican corn producers have had to consolidate their forces. With that being, there are only two major companies which control about 92% of all corn production in Mexico. In the past, dumping level prices in Mexico have had a substantial impact with regards to domestic revenue and have created an environment for price fixing. These setbacks have made it impossible for new farmers to enter the industry, with the average farmer making less each and every year due to a total lack of competition. Perhaps some revisions to the current NAFTA agreement are in order. I think the deal has created a great foundation for open and free trade. However, some changes could benefit both companies down the road, and it seems reasonable that we could have definitely arrived to some fair compromises. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We're about to eat this elote. We've actually been craving this all week, so thank you for tuning in and watching.